You know, in 2017, when there was that famous moment of, there's a mistake, it's the wrong envelope, Moonlight is the real Best Picture winner, I remember where I was. And I thought at the time that nothing the Oscars did could ever shock me as much as that. But here we are. Uh, and I want to clarify, I am upset not at the winners. I think there are some very good films and performances that won this year. They're not necessarily the films and performances that I would have voted for, but hey, you can't win them all. I think there are some good things that came out of this telecast, but they're few and far between. I think the telecast itself was done. It got off to a clunky start, but it was sort of coasting, doing all right. And then somewhere around the last 30 minutes, it was like you were watching the show The Play That Goes Wrong, because the whole thing fell apart so spectacularly, and it was just an embarrassment to watch. Okay, so I'm gonna try to do this in the order that the show happened, because I think going out of order just doesn't work. You need to relive it in the moment. Uh, First of all, I did think it was kind of weird. It was interesting to see the performances of the five songs before the show started. I thought all five performances were very well done. And I was like, okay, this is. It does work the other way to break up the flow of the evening with the performances, but let's see how it works. Let's see how it works. And it was a very quick show. Like, it was a really rushed show. I was surprised by how fast it went. And it was weird because there was a point, like, in, like, after the first hour where, like, the announcer lady said, like, believe it or not, we're running right on time. And I was like, what? I guess that's supposed to be a crack about the show running long, but it's not remotely running long. It's going, like, too fast. And it kind of felt like it was just award after award after award. It wasn't, like, paced out. There were no songs, and there were no comedy bits. And when Regina King started the show, she started to give a speech, and I assumed, okay, this is the classic opening monologue. She's gonna work in some jokes. It's gonna be great. And then, like, out of nowhere, she's like, and the winner is, and I'm like, whoa, what category are we on? Because I didn't realize that the people in the crowd she was singling out were specifically the nominees for original screenplay. It was done so awkwardly, I didn't realize it was a category. And also because I assumed they're gonna show the clips and show the screenplay and show the dialogue, because we're praising the dialogue, aren't we? No, they didn't do that. And even though the first win of the night should have been one of my favorite wins of the night, it was Promising Young Woman for Best Original Screenplay, it was hard for me to be happy because I was too confused, which was sort of a recurring theme throughout the night. And then after that, Best Adapted Screenplay went to The Father, which I also predicted. And so I was like, okay, very good screenplays. We're off to a good start in the wins-wise. But I was like, there's something a bit different. I like that it's shining a light on, like, what these filmmakers went through before they became filmmakers, and, like, the obstacles they had to go through, and who they are as people. That was an interesting way to shine a light on it. But at the same time, like, they weren't showing clips hardly at all. And I feel like it was almost like they were assuming that everybody watching the telecast had already seen all of the movies, which is not necessarily true. Not everybody watches all of these movies. Some people who watch the Oscars are like, ooh, what's this movie? What's that movie? It's a great way to show off some of the movies you haven't seen. But there were no clips at all. And I think right after this, they did one of the acting categories. They did a supporting actor, and they gave it to Daniel Kaluuya. and I knew that was going to happen. But and he gave a very good speech, but it was still a little bit weird that they weren't showing clips. I wasn't used to it, but I said, okay, come on, they're talking about what you do as an actor and what you bring to it, and what you do in all aspects of craft. And so I may not get the exact order right, but I'm going to try to go through it. I think they did a costume and makeup, and costume went to Ma Rainey, and makeup went to Pinocchio. No, makeup went to Ma Rainey also. It did not go to Pinocchio, which I had predicted Pinocchio. I predicted it would be an upset, and it wasn't. So far, it was right on track. And then they did documentary, which was My Octopus Teacher. They did foreign film, Another Round. They did animated film, Soul, which, considering some of the upsets that happened later, this couldn't have been one of them. Like, I sent out a tweet where I was like, Pixar has 10 Oscars now, and then I realized, oh wait, I forgot about Toy Story 4, because of course I did. So they actually have 11 Oscars. Meanwhile, Cartoon Saloon has 0, and Leica has 0, and Spirited Away remains the only hand-drawn animated film to have an Oscar in this category, a category that's 2 decades old at this point. And I'm like, oh my god, this is insane. And so, like, for God's sakes, Wolfwalkers should have won. And if Wolfwalkers had pulled off an upset, it would have made me much happier about the telecast as a whole. It would have helped to counterbalance some of the stuff that happened later in the night. So, we also got the short films. Animated short went to If Anything Happens, I Love You, which I predicted. Documentary short went to Colette, which was my number 5, but hey, documentary shorts, those are always hard to call. Live action short went to Two Identical Strangers. Was it Two Identical Strangers? It was Two Something Strangers, but it was a short that people said was problematic. Of course, so now we know, go for the problematic short in Best Live Action Short. But whatever, the short films, like, no one really cares about those anyway, and the only other thing that I had gotten wrong was makeup, which was the one where I predicted an upset and that didn't happen. So the show continued. Let's see. Sound went to Sound of Metal, presented by Riz Ahmed, and it's probably not a good idea to have the lead star of your film present a category to the film. That shows you really know who it's going to be, although maybe they don't, as we'll get to later. Visual effects went to Tenet, as I predicted. Gonna try to go through all these. Supporting actress went to Yoo Jun-yoon. Best speech of the night by far. Let's see. Production design went to Mank. I think that's. By this point, we're more than halfway through the ceremony, and I've gotten pretty much everything right except for makeup and the 2 shorts, which are totally excusable. I'm making comments that there's not really a lot of upsets. And that's when the upsets start. Best Cinematography, which was the first category I did my prediction for. I predicted Nomadland because I said the first category that I do the video for is always the category that I'm the most sure about. It's the biggest lock of the night. There's no way anything else could beat it. And, of course, Mank won. And I still don't know how that happened. I still cannot unpack how that particular upset happened, but we're just getting started. We don't even have time to go into that, because I'm sitting here going, oh my god, is there going to be an upset in picture? Because this is like a big thing, and Nomadland didn't win screenplay either, so is it just going to win picture and director? So as I'm doing that mental game in my head, so I think they did song next, and they did score. Score was Soul, which we knew was going to happen and was deserving. And then they did song. And song was a giant upset for Fight For You from Judas and the Black Messiah. Maybe one of the bigger upsets of the night. The best way I can describe it is an Ex Machina style situation where the top level of votes just got so much, there was so much vote splitting that everything just, paved the way for Fight for You to come up from behind and take it. But it must have been super close. Like, there is some force in this world that does not want Diane Warren to win an Oscar. And Husavik didn't win either. But at least, like, Fight for You, if nothing else, is a better winner than Hear My Voice. So, that's our winner. Okay. That's what's going to happen. At this point, we realize there are 3 awards left in the night. And this is where the show starts to take a very dramatic turn. Oh! I completely forgot. They did director early. One of the first signs that something weird is going on in this show is when they do director early. And we're like, what? Why is this happening? Oh, they probably want to get it out of the way early because it's such a foregone conclusion. And of course, it's Chloe Zhao, and we're like, okay, that's fair, Chloe Zhao. We thought there was going to be some sort of Eternals TV spot when they're like, from Academy Award-winning director Chloe Zhao, and that's why they got it out of the way early. Considering what happened in the rest of the show, it does strike me as really, really odd that they chose to announce director early. But I forgot it as I was going through it. Most of the main awards have been done. Oh, editing. They give editing to Sound of Metal, which I predicted. I'm like, yes, glad I called it. At this point, most of everything has been going good, and now we're starting to get the Mank upset in cinematography and the Judas upset in song. And at this point, we have 3 awards left to go in the ceremony. And this is where things really start to take a turn. So, it starts with Lil Rel Howery deciding to do a comedy bit about, like, oh, it's a night of Oscar trivia. Who can guess worthy songs if they won the Oscar or not? Which they hadn't done a skit all night. They'd been rushing through award without even showing clips from the movies. And now suddenly they're doing a comedy bit, which was really weird. I suspect now they may have been trying to stall for time because a certain somebody was late, but I may be proven wrong because right after that we got the most rushed in memoriam ever. Like, the song that they picked for the in memoriam was way too upbeat. And they were, like, speeding past the pictures. Like, you didn't even have time to read the names. And I get that the Oscars want to go faster, but there's one part where you want to slow down, and it's the in memoriam. You don't rush through the in memoriam. That's the one rule. But as crazy as that was, it was nothing compared to when I forget who it was even, but when the person came out and said, here are the nominees for Best Picture, my jaw was on the floor. I'm like, this has to be a mistake. This has to be a producing error. Or maybe the TV error, maybe we skipped past it. Rewind, go back. But no, it was not a mistake. Like, I was like, did I have a stroke? Did I miss Best Actor and Best Actress? I know we still haven't done those yet, but no, they were announcing Best Picture before Best Actor and Best Actress. And running through the clips of the 8 films with a really bad choice of clip for Promising Young Woman, by the way, like, seriously, somebody who is watching the Oscars who has not seen the film is going to be like, oh, that looks like a romantic comedy. But anyway, at this point, so much crazy stuff has happened. I am fully suspecting a surprise. I'm like, it could be anything but Nomadland at this point. And it's almost shocking when it is Nomadland, which means I've broken my stat now. First time in Oscar prediction history I got picture and director right, but I can't even enjoy that victory because the way that they announced it was so weird. And I'm trying to, like I'm looking at Twitter, and even people that, I've said before, I was not super high on Nomadland, but even people who are fans of the film felt that they couldn't properly enjoy the moment because of how confused they were that it wasn't the end of the show. And here's the thing, it almost might have been the end of the show because the next 2 categories were rushed through quick and left us feeling very, very confused. Left us feeling like Anthony Hopkins in The Father, like, I don't know what's going on anymore. Like, that was us at the ending of the show. because first of all, we're like, okay, did Nomadland win picture with just director and nothing else? Because that's historic, unless Francis is about to upset, which is probably not going to happen. And then it happens. Francis upsets. But I don't know how to feel about that. I don't think Francis is bad in that movie, but come on, like you got Carey Mulligan giving the best performance. Andra Day and Viola Davis would have made history. Even Vanessa Kirby, I think, would have been a more deserving winner. But no, Frances McDormand wins her third, technically fourth Oscar because she was a producer on Nomadland. And then, by the way, announced by Renee Zellweger, even though it's usually the winner of the opposite gender who announces the next winner. But, so they could have had Zellweger announced actor there or whatever, but clearly they were freaking out, as I'll get to in a minute. So then we get the legendary ending, and it just happened hours ago, but it's already legendary, and it's going to go down in history. Joaquin Phoenix, clearly late, clearly a little bit tipsy, comes on the stage and is like, okay, I know everybody else is like reading out about the praise of acting and what these people went through, but I don't give a shit about that. These are 5 great performances. Here are the names. The winner is Anthony Hopkins. He's not here. That's our show, ladies and gentlemen. Like, it was, and I want to state very clearly, Anthony Hopkins is incredible in The Father. That is a very deserving performance. But and we all knew that there was a chance he could upset. We were all seeing the writing on the wall. We were all seeing the honest Oscar ballots that were like, oh, I know Boseman's going to win, but I really like Hopkins. So we were preparing ourselves for that scenario. But we assumed that there was going to be picture after that we wouldn't have to end the show on that, because what a lot of people are thinking is that the Academy specifically did this to try and end the show with Best Actor in an attempt to create a moment for Chadwick, which was completely ruined by Hopkins winning. And the fact that Hopkins didn't even bother to show up, even via Zoom, for the Oscars, just turned everybody the wrong way. Like, if Riz Ahmed had won, at least he would have gotten to give a speech, and he could have been like, this one's for you, Chadwick, and it would have been a great way to end the show. But instead Hopkins wins, and, like, that's the show. And don't be upset at Hopkins. Be upset at the producers, or whoever it was that thought it would be a good idea to do Best Actor last. And here's what I believe. I mean, if you want to think that this was an intentional choice by the producers to give Boseman a moment and it backfired, you can do that. But for me, I don't think. I think what actually happened is this. Joaquin Phoenix was running late, and the producers had to improvise. I really think they're like, do picture. Stall until he gets here. And then they're like, Renee, come out there. It's the wrong category, whatever. Here we go. Phoenix, Joaquin. Get out. Oh, shit, it's Hopkins. End the show. That was how it felt. It felt like there was total chaos behind the scenes. And I want to emphasize again, I don't think the selection of winners itself is necessarily bad. I think the presentation of it was so bad, it kind of... You kind of have to talk about that more than the winners. I don't even know how I did. Let me pull up Gold Derby for a second, because I in the heat of the moment I forgot like what my predictions were. I know that my sister did better than me because she claims she's not interested in the Oscars at all, but she always does better than me every year. This year she's not even here. She's been vaccinated now, and she's off in a different state with her friend, and yet she is texting me her predictions, and I know she did better than me. So let's see. Okay. So categories played 23. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I got 16. I think 17 is my record. I think 17 is at least my, like, normal standard. I think 16's not bad. And I was doing really good for most of the show, but then at the end of the show, everything completely fell apart. Is there one that I did, like, particularly well on? Adapted screenplay, I got that. Editing, I should have put a little bit more on editing. Yeah, this was not a strong suit for me. The short was called Two Distant Strangers. I called it Two Identical Strangers. I was thinking about the documentary Three Identical Strangers from a couple years ago, which is not the same thing. I don't even know what to say about this one. I think the producers really, really dropped the ball on this one, and it backfired completely. And the funny thing is, the show was going so terribly, I was starting to think there was really going to be an upset in picture, and there was an upset everywhere else but picture. So, Nomadland won. I finally broke my stat. I predicted the Best Picture winner and the Best Director winner for the first time in blogging history. Unless they're going to run out and say it's a mistake and Judas and the Black Messiah is the real Best Picture winner. But I don't think that's going to happen. This was just so insane. And I don't know what the heck they're going to do next year. But the way that this was done was just complete madness. I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know what to say about it. It's just so crazy and so insane. I tried my best to predict the Oscars this year, but they did the unpredictable. I was feeling like there was going to be a Hopkins-Boseman upset. I was feeling that was possible, but for it to happen the way it happened, I hope people don't come after Hopkins too viciously for this, because it wasn't his fault. But first of all, he gave a great performance, but if he was going to win, it shouldn't have happened in that way. Or the night should have ended with Nomadland and everyone being really happy about Nomadland and that film having a moment. Just winning picture, director, actress. When was the last time a film won just picture, director, and an acting award? It's got to be pretty rare. But, yep, that's my Oscar predictions. I'm going to try to get an early Oscar predictions up soon, although the fact that it's already late April means it's not as early as it usually would be. But we've had the longest Oscar season ever. Now we're going to have the shortest Oscar season ever. So, thank you guys so much for being a part of this, and continue to watch anything else I put on YouTube. Thank you guys so much, and if any of you are interested in auditioning for Wolves, or possibly being a cast member, or a crew member, contact me directly. Cast member, just go to the link on the auditions. When Frances McDormand howled like a wolf at the end, I was like, is she howled like a wolf because she was wild in the movie Nomadland, or does she really love wolfwalkers, or is she rooting for my movie? I will admit, when I saw Wolfwalkers, there was a part of me that felt really intimidated, like, well, that's clearly the best wolf-related movie that's going to come out in a while. I don't have a prayer. That's all for me. Thank you.